Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. So glad you're with me today. I want to talk to you about how to change your life in a very, very dramatic way. My goal, as y'all know, is to really create very doable ways to make massive shifts. And I know the reason why I'm here on this earth is to not only help people feel better about themselves, but to truly help people end their pain and suffering, and do that in a radically short amount of time. And this podcast episode is no different, falls under that same umbrella. Let me ask you, when in your life have you drawn the line between what you will and won't accept, tolerate, and allow? I'd like you to take a moment or two and stop this recording, write down those times, because remembering these moments is pivotal to what today's podcast episode is all about. When I came up with this title, it was on the heels of having a conversation with a friend about how I arrived at this point in my life. We were talking about different life experiences, all of the ups and downs that we had gone through, the dreams that we once had that became rewritten because our life circumstances changed, and what became of us after certain experiences. Because here we are. I've told you the story of how I was severely bullied in 7th grade. It is also in my book called The Intuitive Therapist. Suffice it to say that being bullied at 12 years old truly changed my life trajectory, and anybody who is bullied at this very, very tender age will change you. It puts a stamp and a tattoo on your life that you can't remove. 12 years old is a pivotal age where you're beginning to realize that God exists, and where you also begin to question your place in this world. The kind of social pivoting and belonging socially is top of the list. Your friends matter more than your parents. And often it's a really challenging one to navigate through. So in 7th grade, I was humiliated, ostracized, taunted, teased, shunned, laughed at, among other things, for 6 months of my 7th grade year in elementary school. It was truly one of the most horrible experiences of my life. And it haunted me for 20 years until one day everything changed. You see, I experienced this hardship because I realized that my soul needed to settle this karmic debt. Talk about karmic debt a lot. It's all around. I was bullied by everyone in my 7th grade class, guys and girls, because I did what all girls do at that age. I gossiped about a friend when I had promised not to tell anyone what this friend had confided in me in the bathroom stall after lunch. That was my sin, and I paid dearly for it. I was the scapegoat of my 7th grade class. It wasn't until I forgave myself for carrying around the pain of that for 2 decades and saying these 2 words that really changed my life. I forgave myself for self-blame because all the other girls got away with what I didn't. I could not understand how that was possible. The girl who told me what I heard that I talked about, somebody told her that. I was like, what in God's name is this? I get caught? I get the noose around my neck? I didn't understand that. Again, it was injustice. But I forgave myself for feeling less than. I had to. It was my only way out. My self-worth had rotted away over time, over these 20 years because of this horrific experience. And I needed to, once and for all, reclaim it. By saying the 2 words that I'm about to tell you, it changed the course of my life. I changed the course of my life. My karmic lessons from this experience were that I learned not to gossip again. I became someone who could hold someone's confidential disclosures, and I have since been labeled by many as the vault. I learned to raise the standards for how I regarded myself and for how I allowed other people to treat me, what I will and won't accept and tolerate. I said these 2 words that changed my life, and the 2 words are never again. In many other circumstances in my life, I have called upon these 2 words to aid me in redefining who I am and the quality of my life. When I've had shitty relationships, friendships, disrespect in regard of me in jobs from bosses and peers, the words never again stepped up and took charge and allowed me to cultivate new boundaries that will never, ever be crossed. Like I said, I know I needed all of these tough experiences to rise up and connect with the greatness within me. And it has been a very tough learning curve. And trust me, these are not experiences that I would choose. We all would love to run away from pain, but that's not what life is about. It was decided before I incarnated, and my menu of life experiences has all been laid out for me. But I have learned. Each year, we remember the Holocaust, where 6 million Jews were tortured, experimented on, slaughtered in gas chambers, shot dead when they disobeyed Nazi soldiers in the slave camps. And these 2 words that all Jews recite, especially the survivors of the Holocaust, are never again. So these 2 words have never landed lightly on my consciousness in this lifetime, but also as a Jew, and because of my Jewish heritage. And as a human being, I call upon these words. I see them as arbiters of freedom and liberation from the prisons of pain that I have experienced and others have experienced. When I asked you to think about times when you made distinct decisions to stop a toxic internal pattern of behavior, I wanted you to tap into the times when you knowingly or unconsciously told yourself with an iron fist, never again. I want you to look at what those 2 words mean for you, how you changed your life because of those 2 words, and the new boundaries that you created for yourself because of the recitation of those 2 words. They are incredibly powerful when you've reached a level of intolerable pain and you know that you have no other choice, no recourse, but to change your life and say never again. I know you've used those words or similar words, both spoken out loud or silently. We all have. My hope is that as you look back on your life and look back on where you have made intentional changes in your life to how you live your life, that you will give yourself the credit you deserve for having not only put these words into action in the past, but for always keeping them in your back pocket for whatever happens in the future. My hope is that you will continue to not only pull from these words, but apply them. Never again. And continually redefine the quality of your life, up-leveling your standards and boundaries, and being a better you for you. Never again. Never again. Never again. I hope that when you face your next hardship or struggle, no matter how unfair you feel it is, I hope you will move beyond the feeling of injustice Learn from it, learn the lessons, spend every waking moment seeking the lessons in the pain, the disappointment, and tell yourself what you will never again allow yourself to experience. And then take actions that show to yourself and the universe that you have learned what you've needed to learn. Closing that chapter. Life becomes easier when you honor yourself this way, and I hope that you never again experience the pain that you've already been through. I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.